It's Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. There's people out there that love to criticize me, people that love to just say I'm a broken record, I repeat the same thing, it's doom and gloom, etc., etc. If you watch the television, you want to talk about a broken record, you want to talk about a repeat. When I watch the television, I feel like I'm living in some kind of utopia. Everything is wonderful. There's this incredible V-shaped recovery. The stock market has never been better. The average American has never been better. Everyone's working. Everything's incredible. Consumer confidence is through the roof. You want to talk about a broken record, watch the television. Watch these business channels, watch these analysts, watch these economists. Every day, the cheerleading that goes on to try and convince you and I that everything is okay. I came across an article last night, and I'm going to share a few articles with you today. This one comes from The Hedge. Mom and pop landlords dying on the vine as unevictable tenants enjoy protection. And again, we are told that everything is okay, but Jerome Powell reassured everybody today that rates are going to stay at zero. If things were so great, how come rates are at zero? If things are so great, how come this evening we're going to hear about more stimulus, more money printing? How come if things are so great, everybody now is dependent on some sort of stimulus or an unemployment check or a $300 benefit? If everything is so great, things are not so great, ladies and gentlemen, that is for sure. As millions of renters across America continue to benefit from sweeping protections against eviction, their landlords have not been so fortunate. And I know that people are going to come out and go, oh, the landlords are terrible human beings. We don't need them. Everybody should just live rent-free. Everybody should just live for free. We don't need landlords. According to Bloomberg, nearly $47 billion in rent relief have been slow to materialize, forcing mom and pop landlords into financial hardship. Or these landlords, these same people who are in financial hardship, are forced to sell, guess who? To wealthy investors. This, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is more evidence that the wealth transfer is taking place right before our very eyes. And if you think rent is high right now with your small landlord, imagine where it's going to be when the wealthy investors and the big investment companies and the hedge funds and the pension funds come in and take that property. It's not going to be the same price. Rent will continue to go up. And yet we're going to blame and condemn the small little landlords in America who allow opportunity for people to rent those properties while those little landlords take on massive risk. And look at the risk they took on now. No protection. They don't get paid. They have no legs to stand on. If their renter is working and decides not to pay them, that renter is protected. And so these people may need that rent money. Those landlords may need that rent money to pay their own mortgage where they live. And they're getting no help whatsoever. And just imagine the amount of nonsense that is going on where people are actually working and are not paying rent. Like their tenants, these landlords are more likely to be non-white or to be immigrants using real estate for their economic foothold. This is according to the article. Now, mortgage, maintenance, and tax bills are piling up, putting landlords in danger of losing their building or being forced to sell again to wealthy investors. These are the people, ladies and gentlemen, who take the risk. These are the people who allow average Americans to rent that little house, to rent that condo, which allows those people to save up some money and maybe become homeowners in the future. These are stepping stones. We need this. These small landlords, these are small business owners. This is the backbone of America. And as we're losing all the small mom and pop restaurants and all the small retailers, now we're losing the small landlords. And what do we get? We get the McDonald's, we get the Burger Kings, we get the Taco Bells, we get the Jack in the Box, we get the massive corporations where you get absolutely nothing for your money. And this is exactly what we're going to see with landlords, because we're just going to see big corporate money, big institutional money, hedge funds, big investors come in. And guess what? You're going to have a harder chance to rent a property. They'll raise the restrictions. They're going to raise the rent. And when you need to call somebody to fix something, you'll probably be on the phone waiting for 3 hours, just like when you call a corporate office. Much easier when you call the small mom and pop landlord. If you think rent is high now, wait till you see what is coming. Most landlords don't qualify for mortgage forbearance because less than 1/3 have mortgages backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and another federal agency. And local governments can't afford at this point to pause these mortgages, to pause taxes. These local municipalities are dependent on that tax revenue. So do you think that they're going to allow the landlord not to pay property taxes? No. Do you think the bank is going to allow them to pause on their mortgage payment? Absolutely not. So it's a double whammy here. The small landlords are going to have to pay the mortgages, and they're going to have to pay the property taxes, or guess what? They're going to lose their property. It's a bad situation, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine how many renters right now, 12 million renters not paying rent, their credit is going to be destroyed. These landlords are going to go after them in court, sue them. The landlords who are falling behind on these properties and probably falling behind on their own property and their own mortgage, their credit is being destroyed. Just imagine the court system a year or two from now, how overloaded it's going to be. Imagine the decimation of credit. Where are people going to go when they are kicked out and their credit's destroyed? Where do they rent now? Where do they go? People are not thinking down the road to what is coming. Whether you're a renter or a landlord, a consumer or a small business owner, you are dependent on the government at this point in order to pay your bills. And many people still not even getting any help. But again, if you're a renter, a landlord, a small business owner, you more than likely now are dependent on the government. And this to me equals big trouble. The piper is going to get paid, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat, the piper is going to get paid. The government is going to tax all sides. The landlord, the renter, the small business owner, the medium business owner, the consumer. Taxes. Prepare to see your taxes go up. Here's an article today on CNBC. Now, somebody accused me of sharing news from the hedge. So it must be false, it must be wrong, because JB only shares news from the hedge, which obviously this person doesn't watch the show. But here's an article from CNBC. Americans support president's spending and want him to spend more, polls show. Here's another one on CNBC. Workers could get 12 weeks of paid leave under the president's plan. Here are the details. This is fascinating to me because we have an unemployment rate of 25.7%. We have tens of millions of people not working, over 100 million people in the workforce not working, yet millions right now are trying to get even more money without working. Millions aren't even working but want more money for not working. And we're just going to continue to pay people to stay at home. Just think about how crazy all this has become and where does all this lead. Here's an article today, the reopening. Consumer confidence climbed in April to 14-month high. And this is fascinating also because to even think that there's consumer confidence out there when we have tens of millions of people not working, when we have 12 million people not paying rent, 2.7 million people in forbearance not making a mortgage payment, 326,000 people who are not in forbearance but are severely delinquent on their mortgages, to think that consumer confidence could even be high right now, it almost seems like this is just another fallacy that the television tries to promote. Everything's doing wonderful, massive recovery, everybody's going back to work, consumer confidence through the roof, everything is doing great. And if you don't agree with that, there's something wrong with you, right? I completely don't agree with that. I can think for myself, I can connect the dots, I can read these articles, I can take a drive into my city, I can take a drive into Los Angeles, I can talk and listen to the people down below in the comments, and we all know that something is very, very wrong. But look, but as we're talking about consumer confidence, this consumer confidence, what there is of it is based on helicopter money. It's based on a bailout. It's based on stimulus checks. It's based on unemployment checks. It's based on $300 benefits. It's based on people staying at home, getting paid to stay at home, and producing nothing. This is so artificial. It's so fake. And yet people, I think, believe that this is how it's going to be for the rest of their lives. And these same people who believe this are going to be in for a rude awakening. Again, there are no free lunches. The piper will be paid. And the whole bottom of this house of cards built on quicksand is going to be pulled out from under these people. And the day of reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just take a look, connect the dots. I think that many people out there who didn't go to Berkeley, didn't go to Harvard, didn't go to MIT, didn't go to USC, I think that most people can figure this all out. You could have a third grade education and figure this out. And you know, as I've said in the past, I know people that never even finished high school who are much more intelligent than people I know who went to UCLA or USC or Berkeley. These people that have a high school education or a junior high education, maybe even a third grade education, can see exactly what's going on here. I'll tell you, there is something to say for people who are awake. We put so much emphasis on a degree that if somebody has a degree hanging on their wall behind their desk, these people must be so smart. They must know more than everybody. False. They are so asleep. So for the people out there that maybe never finished high school, maybe didn't finish junior high, maybe you didn't even finish third grade, if you're awake and if you're watching this show and you're preparing, you're 10 times smarter than anybody with a degree from an Ivy League school, from a degree from UCLA or USC or Berkeley or whatever. Those people are so asleep. Not all. There's some smart people out there with degrees who are awake, don't get me wrong. But I'm so shocked with the amount of people who are educated and went to a 4-year school and got a degree, how dumbed down they are, how much they really don't know. So God bless to all the people out there who are paying attention, who are awake, who are critically thinking for themselves, getting out of the system and preparing. That is just incredible. Here's an article from the AP. Vegas tourism, airport, casinos now rebound. So that's great news. Casinos took in $1 billion in winnings last month for the first time since February 2020. The $1.07 billion reported last month topped even the $1.02 billion charted in March of 2019. It's incredible, right? People just cannot wait to get out and spend money. Consume, spend, gamble, gamble, gamble. And I wish that this article would have gave us the statistic of how many of these people are on government subsidy, how many of these people are on unemployment, how many of these people are even employed, where this money's coming from. Vegas saw 2 million visitors in March, still down 40% compared to March of 2019. McAllen International Airport handled 2.6 million passengers versus the 4.6 million last year at the same time of March. And as I read this article, it's interesting because when you look again at the 25.7% unemployment, you look at 12 million people not paying rent, you look at 2.7 million people in forbearance, where's the money coming from? Where is the money coming from? And it's just shocking to see how fast people will take money and just burn it down a slot machine or on a poker table. So we have people gambling in the stock market today with money that the government is pulling out of thin air, putting digits on a screen and sending to people's accounts. People gambling in the stock market, people gambling on cryptos, people gambling in Las Vegas. It's just absolutely shocking. We're nowhere near out of the woods here, ladies and gentlemen. We're maybe in the second inning of this whole collapse. We're in a depression. We are experiencing an economic collapse right now. These people who go, when's the collapse going to happen? The collapse is happening right now. Take a look around. We just witnessed a global economy, the world global economy shut down for a year. We still have many parts right here in the US where the economy is only open up 25 to 50%. Hundreds of thousands of businesses destroyed, never coming back. We have not even seen the fallout from what has transpired from last year. We haven't even seen it. You know why? Because nobody's paying their bills. People aren't paying rent. They're not paying mortgages. Business owners aren't paying their leases. They're not paying their rent. What happens? Again, my question, what happens when businesses, what happens when people have got to start paying the bills, the rent, the leases, etc.? And when I read articles like this, and there's nothing wrong going to Vegas, having a good time, taking a weekend trip, a breather, I get it, I understand. But how many of these people can really afford to do it? How many of these people are just taking unemployment, extended unemployment benefits, $300 benefits plus unemployment? How many are taking the stimulus check and just throwing it right down a slot machine? Just like the same people gambling right into the stock market, right into cryptos, when they have no money saved up, when they have no emergency fund, when they have no plan. All they want to do is continue the party, and they believe that these checks are going to keep coming, that unemployment will keep being extended, and that they're never going to have to pay rent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think this is really going to happen, you're going to get yourself in real big trouble. This is pure stupidity, pure ignorance. I went back and did a little research today, and this article on CNBC from 2019, remember this was when things were booming. This was one of the greatest economies in history, we were told, remember, back in 2019. But according to this article, things weren't so great. And let's not forget the repo market, where the banks were seeing very big trouble, and we began to see a massive bailout literally in the repo market. But I'm not going to take time to talk about that. I want to talk about this. This article on CNBC back in 2019, many Americans who can't afford a $400 emergency blame debt. 40 to 50% of Americans, according to this article, back in 2019, during the roaring 2019 era, over 40% of Americans did not have $400 put away for an emergency. Here's another article back in 2019 from Forbes. Again, to this individual who says, I only use the hedge for news. We're going back here to 2019 to Forbes. 78% of workers in America live paycheck to paycheck. I've seen that number at 80%. Here at Forbes, it's 78%. Here's some other interesting statistics. Back in 2019, when we supposedly had one of the best economies in world history, 1 in 4 workers do not set aside any savings each month. So during this booming economy, 25% of workers set aside zero money every month. Nearly 3 in 4 workers back in 2019 were in debt. More than half of minimum wage workers said that they have to work more than one job just to make ends meet. 28% of workers making $50,000 to $99,000 per year usually or always live paycheck to paycheck. And you go, well, how in the world could somebody making $50,000 to $99,000 a year work paycheck to paycheck? Well, depending on where you live. If you live in Orange County, California, $50,000 to $99,000 is nothing. You probably could barely rent a house in Orange County with that kind of income. Or maybe these are the same people who continue to go to Vegas and gamble their money away. I bring all this up because I want all of you to think about where we're at today in 2021 versus 2019. Back in 2019, we were told that the economy was booming and it was doing much better than it is today. Because in 2020, the entire economy shut down. We saw unemployment skyrocket, 500 to 900,000 people a week have filed for first-time unemployment claims from March of last year to April of this year. So over a year, we've lost tens of millions of jobs. So think about if back in 2019, when things were supposedly doing incredible, and no doubt they were much better than they are now, 80% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. Where are we at today? Where are we at today with tens of millions of people not working, 12 million people not paying rent, 2.7 million people in forbearance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed forever. People will never return to work there. Where are we at today? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know, people will tell you that this is just doom, this is negativity, turn the channel. Although those people will never turn the channel, they are addicted to this channel and they're more than welcome to be here. You can call me whatever you want. You can call the message whatever you want, but you continue to show up on a daily basis. These people cannot admit what I'm saying because if they do, they're going to have to prepare. And that means that they're going to have to change their lifestyle. They're going to have to make sacrifices. They're going to have to change their standard of living. They're going to have to cut things out of their life, and they're going to have to admit the truth. And unfortunately, many people have a very, very tough time admitting the truth. And more people have a even tougher time changing their life, adjusting their lifestyle and their standard of living. Too many people want to go on social media and act like big shots. They want to act like they got money when they don't. They want to act big. They want to act like they're special, like they're somebody. And unfortunately, we live in a society today that people worship people that have money, that drive big cars and live in big houses. That's what we worship today in society. And what people don't understand is most of these people are going broke trying to look rich today. They got big bills, big mortgages, big debt. And as we enter deeper into this collapse, debt's going to be a killer, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's going to care what kind of car you drive, what kind of watch you wear. Nobody's going to care how big your mortgage payment is, how big your car payment is. Nobody's going to care how many thousands of dollars in credit card bills you have. All that's going to do is destroy you. This is the time to really be humble. This is the time to hunker down. This is the time to be smart, to be patient. This is the time that if you make $100,000 a year, it's a time to live like you make $40,000 or $50,000 a year. If you make $50,000 a year, this is the time to start living like you make $25,000. Live below your means. The sales are coming. People will take advantage of those sales when they get here. But right now is the time to prepare for those sales. I'm going to leave it there today. Again, it's just shocking to see what is transpiring right before our very eyes with this economy, with the fake stock market, how people are being bamboozled into Ponzi schemes, people gambling money that they don't even have. I mean, I can't even believe that there are people out there who aren't even working, taking money and gambling in the stock market or on Dogecoin or going to Las Vegas and trying to hit it rich on a slot machine or a poker table. This is reality. This is really happening. Look, if you're working today, protect your wealth the best that you can. Make sure that you're being smart with your money. Make sure that you have an emergency reserve put away, that you have some assets put away, that you got the debts paid down. If you're not working and you have money coming in through the benefits, the extended unemployment, the stimulus check, you better be very, very critical and cautious where every cent of that money goes. And I don't give financial advice, but to be going to Vegas, to be going out and buying a big screen TV, to be going to gamble it on a cryptocurrency, I think you're absolutely out of your mind. Out of your mind. And these are the people who are going to get what they deserve. They are going to get wiped out. Do not be a statistic. Do not be one of these people. The masses are always going to lose. And they're going to lose again here, ladies and gentlemen. Do not follow the masses over the cliff. If you got any type of money coming in, save it. Put it away. Get the debts paid down. Don't act like one of these big shots. I'm telling you, it's going to end bad. It's going to end really, really bad for so many people. And you do not want to be high and dry when this tsunami hits. It's going to be a disaster. Cannot stress that enough, ladies and gentlemen. Save your money, get the debts paid down, and if you can get a side hustle or two on the side to accumulate some more cash, that's what you need to be doing. Going out and partying on the weekends, going to Vegas, gambling on cryptos, gambling in the stock market. The day of reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and when they pull the bottom out, you do not want to go down with the masses.